Yo. He's hiding. It's nice in the trees. It might actually feel pretty good. Yeah, I don't
Did Dad bring her out?
brought the tables and chairs.
I'm going to lean against this tree so I can videotape it.
If I can have the guest of honor, Mr. Joseph Beneduce, up to the golf cart, please.
It's a little quiet. Yeah, a little quiet. Turn it out. Go good.
Is this better?
Oh yeah, that's better.
Where's my dad? Where's Joe? There he is.
Conversating. He's conversating. Get louder.
Excuse me, Teak. Teak, you're being paged by the chaplain. Joseph, Joey. Teak, Mr. Beneduce. Wait, if you want to have a seat up here, Mom, why don't you sit with him?
I'm just trying to figure where he's going, and then I'll.
Do you want to sit?
Yeah. Okay. That's kind of what I'm looking around for.
It's your wedding chariot.
Where's it going? The wedding chariot. Where's it going?
Where's you tell me. Yes. Consider it an upgrade from the limo. All right. Well, thank you all for being here, and thank you for making the walk out here. So for those who haven't seen us in a while, you still recognized us despite us having a few more wrinkles, so thank you for that.
Oh, come on.
Seriously.
They're all like, get away from me. So we're Kristen and Danny. We're Joe and Nancy's daughters, of course, and we're so grateful to be able to celebrate 40 years since Nancy and Joe tied the knot, not including the 10 plus high school and college years that they knew each other, and not including the X factor of having to raise 2 girls, and the Z factor of many unique life challenges that have been thrown their way. So welcome, and thank you for joining us for our parents' 40th anniversary celebration. Thank you for making the trip from all over the country to be here. So people have flown in from Seattle. We even have people here from Italy. I don't know if they flew in specifically from this, but that's right. Yes, we do.
We get the fries for the fur. Make friends. So stay.
Of course, we want to talk a little bit about our parents and what their relationship has meant to us. So again, thank you for joining us out here to let us do that. But when you get married, you know, and I'm lucky to say I've been able to do that now, you realize that it's about each other, but it's so much about who surrounds you and who you decide to surround yourself with. And that's all of you. So I wanted to take a second to just recognize everybody who's here. I'm not sure if I realize what a diverse crowd across the span of my parents' lifetime this is, but I'm not sure if everyone does. So feel free to cheer. We have family, Dad's side, and I won't name everybody, but all of his siblings and their spouses. We have my mom's side and her siblings and their spouses as well. We have cousins, nieces, nephews in true Italian family style. We have extended cousins who are just cousins. Everybody is a cousin. We have people that go all the way back to childhood and high school. Some of those are family, but some of those are friends. Both my parents grew up in Madison. We have a number of folks from Madison High School here. Yeah. I thought about ordering this like in order of like who's the biggest party troublemaker. I didn't, so there's no ordering to this, by the way. But we also have folks from my dad's college fraternity. Some friends who have continued to be amazing friends today. And we have new friends, neighbors from Chester and Mendham, new friends from my parents' home in Lenoka Harbor, a number of them. It's
such a blessing to have all of you here who constitute our parents with us, so thank you. So maybe it feels like 40 years went by really fast. Maybe it feels like it's been a really long time since that day. I don't know. But here we are, 2003. My parents officially get the senior citizen discount at the movie theater. And the bouncers have finally stopped asking Mom for her ID at the nightclub. Okay. We all know Nancy's never been to a nightclub.
Oh, maybe that's not true. I hear some.
No stories.
No promises. I got the mic. But honestly, as she's gotten older, I'd say you'd be more likely to find her running around the dance floor more than any other phase of her life, and it's a really beautiful thing. Many of you may know she wasn't always outgoing, extroverted, not always the chatty Nancy we all know and love today. In high school, she was quiet, conservative, well-behaved, the ultimate rule follower.
I don't know about that.
Fancy Nancy.
Fancy Nancy.
Ooh, fancy Nancy. So, as described by Nancy herself in her senior yearbook, Nance enjoys laughing, happy people, sunny summers, snowy winters, the ocean, football, left-handed people.
Lefties.
She dislikes wearing shoes, so feel free to take your shoes off. Oh, hippie. Dislikes being bored, dislikes making decisions, still very true. She was involved in yearbook committee, the FTA, color guard, operetta band, and she'll always remember the fortress and, in quote, compensation.
Only 2 people here know what that means.
There are 2 people here who know what that means. They'll have to explain that to us.
So meanwhile, down the hall at Madison High walked Joe Beneduce, the outgoing music and theater guy who enjoyed a good party and performing in front of a crowd. Joe described himself in his senior yearbook as liking jazz, motorcycles, and taking it easy. He dislikes snobs and problems, which is also still very true for him. And his activities also included operetta, band, dance band, Just Us for Jazz. I can see a pattern here, very musical. He enjoys skiing, golf, lacrosse, and tennis. And his quote is, "Oh well," which I can still hear him saying to me very often, very frequently. He will always remember Herm and the Buke. That also, we're going to have the high school friends explain to us, if you remember. So though my parents would be considered opposite in high school, they shared passions, obviously we heard, in music, and they were just friends. Yeah. As time would go on, my dad would graduate to become valedictorian of frat partying at Rensselaer Polytech. And my mom would carry on to study her way through college at Bloomsburg University, and she became a 4th grade teacher. It wasn't until after college, when my dad was going on a cross-country trip to California and invited my mom, his friend at the time, to join, that they realized that this could be something more. Now, I'm not sure I'm convinced that he didn't know exactly what he was doing at this time, but he claimed that they just went as friends. But sometime along that 3,000-mile journey between New Jersey and California, their love grew into something real, and the rest is history. Woo-hoo! My parents were married in Madison on August 20th, 1983, exactly 40 years ago to this day. And they went on to have 2 daughters, obviously, yours truly. And looking back on my childhood, I can honestly say that we had a good, simple upbringing. We didn't go on extravagant vacations, except maybe that one time we went to Costa Rica, maybe. We didn't host fancy parties, obviously, because that would be for snobs. My dad doesn't like snobs. But instead, my memories are the kind that I think really matter.
I want to take a second though to say something on, as a child, as the offspring of Joe and Nancy, and on behalf of kids, because it's a rare opportunity to be able to stand here and talk about your parents and hold the mic. But we also don't choose our parents as kids, right? And obviously we're very lucky to have them. Even though we didn't choose them, and although they're really quite different, we still had a great childhood. I did want to share just a few things though of what it was like in the Beneduce household. I'll keep it brief. What is it like being part Joe and part Nancy in the Beneduce household? Well, one thing for sure, it was very easy to forget to clean your dish and put it in the dishwasher, because frankly, Mom was so good at doing it for them and always doing things for us. It was just easy to forget. Catch Dad on a bad day, and you would have found your dishes in your bed, dirty and all.
You really did that.
Now, we said Mom is not the keenest on decisions, and Dad has a resourcefulness of keeping things around the house. This had made for a very eclectic household of mostly thrift and upcycled furniture, much to our embarrassment when friends would come over. There is one place where this sort of thriftiness and lack of ability to make decisions worked out really well for them, and it was in their closet. They had an enormous walk-in closet. Mom was a school teacher. She probably had a shirt for Groundhog's Day, as well as every other holiday. And probably 7/8 of the closet was rainbow-colored, two-stack Mom's clothes. Didn't have to decide, and just in its perfect place, Dad's few shirts, of course, nothing fancy. That would be for snobs. But really, we're so grateful that we've gotten the best of both of them. My dad's business and entrepreneurial mindset, especially as women in difficult fields today, his drive and his stubbornness that I'm certain have gotten us to where we are, and all of that good Italian pride. Our husbands are laughing at the stubbornness. From Mom, her empathy, her intuition, her patience, her ethic, loyalty, steadiness, and aversion to risk, and the gift of gab, which lets us be up here today, as well as Dad's renowned showmanness.
It's been especially enjoyable watching their relationship stay consistent despite their personalities continuing to evolve. In the 90s and early 2000s, my dad was undoubtedly the strict one, and my mom was most definitely the easygoing one. My dad snored like a lawnmower, and my mom slept like a mouse. While the tables have turned 180 degrees on that, that's right, all of that. My mom snores like a lawnmower, and my dad is silent. I didn't know that was physically possible to switch that, but it is. Yes, but thank God for the CPAP. My mom is more outspoken than she's ever been. She says what she means, and she means what she says, and she's not afraid to start a confrontation to stand up for what she believes in now.
Go Nancy!
Woo-hoo! Ask her about the refrigerator repairman who reported to his supervisor the other week that he felt threatened by little Miss Nancy. He wouldn't send anyone back. That's how threatened he was. Do not ask her about Donald. Awkward. On the flip side, my dad has evolved into who we call El Consigliere. And the definition of El Consigliere, if you don't know, is the quiet advisor or counselor to leadership of large criminal organizations. Well, after a few drinks, I'd say that the Beneduce family is equally difficult to manage as a criminal organization. And while my dad doesn't actually partake in the boisterous activities and the drinking, he sits quietly on the sideline, making sure no one falls off of a curb or makes any seriously bad decisions. And he does it all with a smile on his face. In fact, I'm pretty sure that he enjoys it, because at the end of the day, all my dad wants is to be around family and to enjoy the simple days together. They're slowly becoming more like my nanny and poppy, who are my dad's parents. I know, they probably don't like that. But I'll prove it to you. I'll give you a couple examples. Bickering over how to drop the boat anchor into the water properly. How much salt should you put on the pasta salad? And I'm actually glad to see this. I think it's very healthy, especially because I really never saw them fight all throughout my childhood. I think to myself, oh good, they're human. It's normal to fight as parents or married people. And I know that these bickers are a product of them being a team. And they do everything that they do, from boat rides to pasta recipes. My mom and dad do everything together. All right, now I'm gonna get serious for a second. The strength and consistency in their relationship has never been more visible to me than it has over the last decade, through all the things that life has thrown at my parents. In sickness and in health is the vow. And they've truly embodied that and what it means to live that. 34 visits in and out of the hospital for countless surgeries, unimaginably difficult procedures, weighing impossible unknowns. 34 visits. That's how many times my mom was there by my dad's side. My parents don't know, but at each hospital visit, I sit in my regular corner seat. I watch them sit side by side at the bed, comforting and supporting each other, and I take the opportunity to take a picture of them that way. I keep a folder of them on my phone. And some may be asking why I would do this, because who would want to remember these times? Often they're very difficult and traumatic. But to me, I'm witnessing the biggest gesture of love I've ever experienced. And in times that I need inspiration for strength or love, I look at them.
Most hard things that I've witnessed others go through in their lives, I've noticed it goes one of two ways. The person experiencing the hard thing, the crisis, leans in to those around them, or they lean out and others around them grow more distant. But not my parents. To me, my parents have always just leaned. They're like two slightly off pillars leaned into each other, wedged together, but long ago. I can name so many things that they've done over the course of my lifetime that exemplify that leaning. My dad giving my mom the head massages she loves. We maybe all could use a little one of those after all this wine. And my mom agreeing to soak up the sun in maybe a less than optimal beach while dad fishes off a pier, just so they could do it together. I was recently staying at Lanoka. I was upstairs trying to go to sleep. My parents were on the couch trying to select a television show. Someone had told them that Spy was really good. For about 5 minutes, there was a back and forth. No, it's this one. No, it's that one. Eventually, they committed. Then they realized, I could hear all this happening. Then they realized that that it was in Hindi. It was a Hindi Bollywood movie. And then they realized that there were no English subtitles. They committed. My husband was down there, he fell asleep. An hour later, I was still lying awake because the drama of the noise downstairs was, could not sleep. But my parents, it didn't matter. Through terrible television choices, they've just enjoyed each other's company and sitting on the sofa together. It's been 40 years of being best friends, 40 years since two pillars fell towards each other and just caught each other on the way down. 40 years of just leaning on each other, regardless of how high the winds around them. Nothing at all except for having nothing at all except for the desire to be together. 40 years and still standing. Of course, there are many things I've learned from my parents, but none more powerful and deep than being able to do everything, nothing, or even things apart as long as you're doing it together.
And I'll just round this out by sharing something I heard a priest say in his homily recently, that the greatest gift you can give someone is your time. And not just showing up for the rare big events, but time to celebrate the little wins, time to share the simple joys of everyday life, and time to be there for loved ones when they need it, even when our own days are busy or it may be inconvenient. And all of you here, you're here because you've given my parents some of your time at different stages throughout their lives and throughout their marriage. And so from the bottom of our heart, we just want to thank you all. And my mom and dad have given 40 unbreakable years of time to each other, and their love has never been stronger than it is today. So with that, I'd like to raise a glass and toast. Got a glass? Happy 40th anniversary, Mom and Dad. We love you. And in typical Nancy fashion, I think she maybe wants to say something also. That's classic too. We've already said it. We always say the same things. Oh yeah, I can bring it over here. Okay. Amongst the greatest blessings Joe and I have had over our 40 years together are the love and support from our family and friends. And that's why we are thrilled to see all of you here. We are just overjoyed and out of our minds. I am. Anyway, we thank you for coming, and we thank you for your love and support over all those years. Some of you have known us for a really long time, before the 40s. Some were just part of that. Some are maybe just a few years. Some of you we see all the time. Some on a rare occasion. Never enough for any of you. But through whichever of those categories you fall in, you are someone who has been special to us in our lives and are very important to us too. I'd like to take a moment, I would like to take a moment to thank Mike. I don't know if he is still here. Okay. You can just, little Mike.
I'm Mike.
I can thank you.
I'll take it.
He's another redheaded Mike.
Bring
in the backup redheaded.
Thank you for bringing her back to the East Coast.
There's little Mike. There's Mike.
Oh, Mike, you're getting a shout out.
I would like to thank Mike and his team at Beneduce Vineyards. You guys always do an amazing job. You know we love it here, and it's really nice to be able to celebrate this in a place that feels like home, but it's not our house. And now to Kristen and Mike. It's your turn again, and Danielle and Marco. I'm at a loss for words, believe it or not. So revel in that for a minute, and then I'm just going to say you guys are beyond amazing. We thank you for this beautiful and memorable, we'll never forget day, and we love you guys dearly with all our hearts. And next, to my husband of 40 years, who I met for the first time when I was 12, and he was 11 going on 12. Believe it or not. A couple of you were there. I went looking for the perfect anniversary card, and of course I could not find what I wanted to say. So I made my own, and I'm thinking this is a good time to read it.
Everybody get the tissue.
Nah. The night before our wedding, I composed a card for you as well. I don't recall exactly what I said, but
But there was one sentence that has stuck with me over the years, and that was, on our wedding day, I feel as though together, you guys kept using that word, we can accomplish anything. I'm not sure if I had anything specific in mind, probably a few basic things like enjoying successful careers, owning a house, raising some happy children, and building a future for us and for them. Beyond that though, as a 28-year-old bride, I remember feeling an exciting confidence that we had this great future ahead, and whatever goals or dreams we set for ourselves, together we could make them happen. And when tough times would come along, as long as we were together, we would weather them no matter what. My mother's guiding words to us on that August 20th day were, having a partner to share your life and love with doubles the joys and halves the sorrows. In the midst of our lives, ups and downs, those sentiments did ring true for us. However, it wasn't until some decades later that I came to know the full meaning of my words on that wedding card in 1983. Over the past years, I and we, all of the people who are here, watched in awe. You're my GPS, my North Star, my other half, my one and only, which you wrote this morning, and you are the love of my life. Happy 40th.
Well, I won't say a lot. It's just, I can't tell you how much it means to both of us to have you all here to share this with friends, family, under this beautiful place. You're standing under what we call the nanny tree, which is a remembrance from my mom. Danny got engaged here. This place means a lot to us. I can't thank you all enough for being here to share this.
Here, here.
Yes, you made it through. Thank you.